Were there playbooks that you had like at Epic or Cerner, or did you have to also invent them?
What a good question. I mean, definitely we're inventing them because there are just unique problems here. Like it's a different regulatory space than being in the pure provider side of the world. It's slower, honestly. Like we often joke that, like healthcare is ten years behind the rest of the world from a technology perspective. Clinical trials is like 10 years behind that. It's just really slow. And that's on purpose, largely because that, like we have to produce really high quality data and we need, like, they take things slowly and they don't, they're more fast followers than they are going to be like out in the front. So all that to say, we've had to create new playbooks for that and to definitely like get in and work with these folks. But definitely leveraged a lot of things I did at Epic too. Like I remember sitting at Epic, they have like a 10 commandments that drive the company. And that 10 commandments was posted in every bathroom. So like while you were in the bathroom, going to the bathroom, the 10 commandments were right there in front of you. And then kind of similar for Trevor and Ramon, like Zapier is a really values driven kind of commandments, driven company. That's been really important to us. Like bringing those values to our employees is a big part of our playbook. And that came from our experiences at those previous companies. But yeah, I mean, like navigating the world of clinical trials needed its own playbooks too. Like I have connected to EMRs, I don't know how many times in my career now, hundreds, if not thousands of times now. And it's very different when you're coming at it from the provider view. But when you're the researcher asking for that same permission, you have to have a different conversation and inspire a different level of trust in the fact that we're connecting into this data. So that was a new playbook for me. It's like, what are the things that I need to do to instill that trust from the outset so that we can work with these providers on recruiting patients into their studies? Hopefully that was helpful.
Yeah, super helpful. Yeah, and what would you say kind of broke the most often in those early days, and how did that environment force you to develop adaptability?
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be surprising given like Zapier roots from my co-founders, but we're really like a system about connecting other systems. We're playing the middleman between a lot of different systems. And that's just like, it's a very prone to break space, especially when you're working with EMRs that are largely built in like the 70s on code systems that don't even exist anymore. And yeah, I mean, like definitely getting into a lot of these smaller EMRs that, don't have a ton of connections. Those break all the time. And we're constantly refixing those. We're also connecting into all these clinical trial management systems that literally like haven't had APIs until like a year ago, or even some of them very, very recently. So they're starting to adapt to the times largely because companies like us are going to them saying like, our customer expects us to connect to you. So those things break all the time. Those are
Yeah,
companies that aren't necessarily like made to be interoperable, kind of on purpose at times, depending on how spicy we want to get here. But, so those things break, and yeah, that's been painful, but also like kind of our value prop. Like we're willing to be in there and fighting those fights with you and for you to make sure your systems all talk to each other.
yeah.
Yeah.